It is Friday, February 1st, 2019. I know I only posted like one podcast in January, and I apologize, but this is a new month. We're going to get more out this month. I'm going to start today with coverage of the Royal Rumble. And I got a guest. Say hello, guest.
Hi.
You want to introduce yourself, guest?
Yeah, it's your favorite person in the entire world, your girlfriend, Becca.
It is indeed my lovely, beautiful girlfriend. So stick around and keep listening, because this is not life without a Messinger.
If you're reading saga or crying from the muir, he'll deliver a sunset flip, so hold secure. He's got comic books and wrestling all night. This is not life with Adam Messinger. Adam S. Messinger.
Well, hon,
Yeah,
it's the big 50.
that's right.
We hit episode 50, and it's everybody else's fault. It's all their fault. I'm here for 50 episodes.
I know.
It's been a fun ride. We're going to continue it next week. I know this week we're just going to cover the Royal Rumble. That's it. So if you're here for comics, tune in next week.
Okay, we definitely will. We'll have some good stuff for next week, right?
Yeah, we will.
Sounds good.
It'll be a booty slapping good time.
I'm here for it.
But let's get to it. Let's get to that Rumble Royale.
Oh, it was such a good pay-per-view.
I know I haven't really talked a whole lot of WWE recently, and I've kind of beat around the bush with all the other wrestling stuff I could think of. But I watched this pay-per-view, and since I've been watching pretty consistently in 2011, this is the best Royal Rumble I've ever seen.
It was really damn good.
Is this the best Royal Rumble you've ever seen?
This is for sure the best Royal Rumble I've ever seen.
Is that because it's the only Royal Rumble you've ever seen?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're going to be disappointed next year is my guess.
Don't tell me that ahead of time.
Well, I'm just saying.
Okay. Well, you might be right, but it was a very jam-packed pay-per-view.
Oh my God, it was 50 years long.
I really only thought it was going to be the men's and the women's Royal Rumble, and then they threw in all these extra matches in between, and yeah, it made it. But you know what? It made it really worth watching, and
if you include
really
both Rumbles, it's 7 matches. And the women's and the men's, I believe, went over an hour, which is out of control.
Yeah. It's pretty nuts.
But they were both really good.
They were.
So we're going to go by each match on the main show. There's a pre-show. It was okay. The Not Dave Meltzer Scale rating for the pre-show is I watched it. I had eyes, and I looked at it.
Is that what he said?
For 2 hours. It's my Not Dave Meltzer Scale, so.
All right.
So that's my Not Dave Meltzer Scale rating.
Okay.
2 eyes that watched it.
2 eyes. Is it like, you know what it makes me think of?
What?
Makes me think of, did you ever read that Fitzgerald book? Oh, The Great Gatsby, that's what I'm thinking of.
No.
There's like a section in the book, and when they did the movie, the Robert Redford one, and then the one with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
There's a section in the movie where they have like a pair of eyes behind glasses, and they're just watching you, and it's the creepiest fucking thing.
That sounds...
And I don't know why I just thought about that, but I'm thinking about
Well,
that.
this is not a creepy me watching it type of way.
Not a Big Brother kind of.
No,
okay.
Not even close.
All right. Well, that's just what it brought to mind.
Okay. Well, This is a lot less creepy than that, I hope. No Robert Redfo. Redfo?
Redfo? Redfo?
Yeah, Robert, it's like Redfoo from LMAO. Or yeah.
LMAO?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mixed with Robert Redford.
Right on.
Yeah. So, we'll start with the first match.
Yeah.
Which was the Man
Yes.
versus Asuka.
Yes.
What'd you think, hon?
Oh, man. I really enjoyed that match. And there were a couple parts in between the match where I was like, oh man, are they gonna give it to Becky? Are they gonna let Asuka keep it? Where I wasn't really sure how the match was gonna turn out. I felt like it was really good. There was so much tension building up to that match. Because we did a whole jam-packed marathon of wrestling watching right up into the Rumble.
Yes.
That it was...
I was 3 weeks behind.
Yeah.
So she was nice enough to sit and watch however many hours. That's 15 hours of wrestling.
Yeah.
Up until, and then was it another 6 for that fucking pay-per-view? No, it was probably closer to 7.
No, I was going to say it's closer to 7 because we watched the pre-show
so
together.
fucking out of control.
Yeah.
That's my big gripe about the show, is that calm your tits, WWE. Nobody has 7 hours to just clear out their day and treat it like a fucking day shift of a job to watch your product.
Literally. I had to wonder, because I had done a little snooping around after we watched the Royal Rumble online, and seeing, like, wondering who on a Sunday, yeah, you don't have work, but, like, generally, like, Sundays are lazy Sundays for people. Like, you know, some people go to church, some people do, like, laundry on Sundays.
It's chore day.
Yeah, and I'm thinking to myself, you probably only have time to have, like, breakfast or brunch, and been like, alright, I guess I'm gonna laze around for about 5 to 7 hours.
Yeah.
And then, I guess maybe we do 1 or 2 things and then go to bed.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, who has that kind of time?
It's fucking ridiculous.
So, that's longer than a Super Bowl party.
Jesus.
For fuck's sake.
You're right.
And I don't even like going to those things.
Yeah.
I go there to eat and then I'm done. Like, alright, thanks for the invite. Bye, guys.
Did we eat during this?
Oh,
yeah, we
did.
ate sandwiches.
We did.
Yeah.
We had sandwiches.
That was pretty good. And we had cookies, too. Those cookies were dope.
Oh, those were good cookies, yeah.
So, anyway, back to the task at hand as we get completely sidebarred.
Yeah, sorry.
Barred to the side. The Man versus Asuka. I enjoyed it quite a bit as well. The whole sequence, they did the sequence. If you haven't watched this, I'm giving you a heads up now. Spoiler galore. Spoiler galore. So just turn off the episode right now, and if you haven't watched it, or if you plan on watching it and just haven't got around to it. So just turn the episode off and then come back to it. So you've had your chance. So we're going into spoiler territory.
Go for it.
There was a whole sequence in this match where they reversed finishers and put the other person's finishers on, and then finally reversed that into their own finishers until Asuka does an Asuka lock and then fucking bridges it. She like rolls out to maintain it and then bridges it. And whenever Becky tapped, I was just like, yeah, I would have fucking tapped too. That looked...
It was unbelievable.
Yeah, I was like, that looks like you're being fucking choked out and you're either going to tap out or pass out. And there was like no way to get out of it unless she was able to get to the rope. But even then, it looked like she could have been pinned from that, too.
She had her good. And these women are so smart, especially in some of the other matches, even with, Ronda and Sasha. They are so aware of them, where they have them pinned or locked, that they're always got them towards the center.
So, like, the ring awareness.
Yeah, and I'm always impressed, because I would think in the heat of the moment, you're just trying to get that lock or that pin, and they're always so hyper aware, and Asuka knew what the fuck she was doing. She's like, if I let her get to those ropes, like, she needed it to be over. And that desperation just, like, it added, I think, to really the intensity and how they sold the match, and it was
a hell of a story. It's one of those that I'm sure I'm going to go back and rewatch later on, either later in the year.
Oh, yeah.
And it's one of those matches that's burned into my brain as an excellent match.
And they both really held their own, and just, I mean, Asuka, they always go on a rant about, and we always talk about how Asuka had the undefeated streak and just how underused she is in WWE, and the matchup against her and Becky was just, it's what everybody wanted and I think needed.
Yeah, it definitely brought Asuka back to prominence. She's not like the unstoppable badass, but she's definitely a badass.
Oh, certified badass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Not Dave Meltzer Scale, what are you giving it, hon?
Not Dave Meltzer Scale, oh my god. Not Dave Meltzer Scale, I'm gonna say, those, ice cream bars that you used to get? Now you can't get them at the concession stand anymore. They took them out, I think, like 2 or 3 years ago. Or maybe more, but very devastated about this. But it used to be this huge ice cream bar that's like chocolate coated with nuts on it and has vanilla inside.
So you give it one of those?
I give it one of those, and one of those bad boys is like a whole meal. No joke.
Yeah.
It's that fucking good.
Yeah, I give it Mike Eagle's Sir Rockabye EP.
Alright.
Yeah, that was a solid EP, so I'm like, yeah.
Solid.
So moving on to the next match, you had Miz and Shane O'Mac, the world's greatest tag team, versus The Bar for the SmackDown tag team titles.
That's right.
Were
you pumped for that match before?
No.
I wasn't either, and it turned out to be, I thought, actually pretty decent.
Yeah, it was a good match. And it was what I expected it to be. I wasn't, like, super pumped. Mm-hmm. I'm more pumped to see them on SmackDown and see how they advance the story there than I actually was for this match. But I knew the match was going to be good all the same. Mm-hmm. And that's just because Shane McMahon is an insane person.
Yeah, and we were talking about this because he's 49, and okay, I'll give him the fact that, like, he's aged well and, kept up probably exercise-wise as good enough as a 49-year-old can. But I was just getting so much anxiety when I'd see him doing stuff, getting up on the top ropes and doing his coast to coast, and it just, I was like, please don't break anything. It was so anxiety ridden for me watching it, but I thought it was pretty decent. I think The Bar played off a lot of the stunts actually pretty well too.
Yeah, you say stunts, that's actually a really good way to describe the match. Because that's the type of match Shane McMahon works, is just a stunt match.
That's very much how it felt like.
Although he hit that at the end, he hits a shooting star press, and I believe it was on Sheamus.
It was on Sheamus, I believe.
And I've seen him do that one other time, and he fucking missed, and I thought he'd killed himself. So whenever he actually hit it, I was happy for him. And because I was thoroughly expecting that to be another Shane McMahon, I'm going to kill myself spot.
Oh my God.
Did he do any... He didn't do any through the table spots, did he? I know he set up for one.
He set up for one,
and then they moved, right?
Right.
Yeah. And I love them as a tag team and their whole storyline they have with the...
They're wrestlers with daddy issues?
Yes, exactly. Exactly. I love it.
You know, I'm going to admit I wasn't here for it in the beginning, but it's definitely grown on me in a way that I wasn't expecting, and it is enjoyable. And I think part of it for me is like The Miz is such a charismatic person, and when he shot that promo
with him and Shane sitting in the ring.
Sitting in the ring, and he's pitching the idea to him, and then he finally goes, look, he's like, this isn't just a gimmick thing, like, I legit want to be your partner because, you know, my dad remembers this match. And it was the match where he filled in for him, remember?
Yeah, fucking the bullshit, bullshitville.
Right. Against Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah.
And he's talking about the match to him, and he's just like, you know, my dad watched it, and he just thought so highly of you, and how else can I win my dad's...
That's approval.
Approval. Love and approval. And he sold it like that to him, and he didn't just sell it to him, he sold it to the rest of us, and in that promo, and I came off feeling like very genuine.
It did, and that
was part of it.
I'd watched Miz and Mrs., and there's like a whole episode where Miz talks about that, and he talks about how his dad, like other people tell him that his dad's proud of him, and other people are like, yeah, your dad loves you. But his dad, he was like, yeah, my dad's never told me that to my face. Ever.
Yeah, and that's the thing, I think, when you, to hear it from the horse's mouth is different to hear it from word of mouth.
Yeah.
And for him, especially because it's televised, that he has a kid, and him becoming a father and having to be a father figure for his kid, I'm sure that was something that he had to look at and go, what kind of dad do I want to be?
And in the episode, he says, like, I never want her to ever have to question that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell, Matt Monroe Sky that, she's the greatest and how much I love her.
Mm-hmm.
And so to see that, like, play out on TV, like, what really makes it, is there's an element of realism there.
Yeah, and so as soon as it started to weave in with, like, genuine realism, it sells it. It sells it on a different level.
Yeah, the match itself was good, but as I said, the overall story is what really works here.
Yeah, for sure.
Not Dave Meltzer Scale. What you gonna give it, girl?
Not Dave Meltzer Scale. What would I give it? I'm gonna say like a nice, soft, chewy pretzel.
You're really on the food thing today, huh?
I'm hungry. Have you noticed?
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
I'm just gonna talk about food.
All right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
So the SmackDown after Royal Rumble, they had Mrs. Dad come out.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, I knew that was...
So like, sweet.
It was, and I'm like, Mrs. Dad had to be over the moon because he's never done a wrestling entrance.
Oh, really? So that was his first time?
That was his first time doing a wrestling entrance in a ring. Like, he was on TV for the Royal Rumble, but he was at he was at ringside, and
that's right. He was ringside.
They did the celebration where they put the titles on his dad.
That's right. Oh, it was like a very sweet moment.
And that's one of those things that he's going to remember for the rest of his life. It's one of the first times he heard his dad tell him, "I love you and I'm proud of you," is on TV in front of everyone.
Yes, regardless if Corey Graves ruined that with this
Corey
awful
Graves.
commentary.
And regardless of it being part of storyline, it has that realism,
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I loved that. And my Not Dave Meltzer Scale rating for the Royal Rumble match.
In general?
Yeah, no, just the...
Oh, just that. Okay,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
For, their match at the Royal Rumble, I should say. I'd probably give it, in those butterfly stickers that they give you in, like, first grade.
Aww.
Where they're, like, fun.
Yeah, they're fun.
And you put them on things, and you're like, oh, that's cool.
They make you feel good.
Yeah, so that's, butterfly stickers.
Cute.
That's what I'd give it.
Cute.
Okay, so next up, Ronda Rousey versus Sasha Banks, which I've misspelled in my notes.
Yeah.
Sadha Banks.
Yeah, I was kind of looking at these notes and I'm going, who the fuck is Sadha?
Sadha is how my fingers spell Sasha when they're not working right.
I'd like to see just a whole note filled with complete awful miscorrections.
Yeah, half the time on like my phone I have to write things like 3 or 4 times over because fucking my fingers are fat. Either that or the keyboard's skinny.
Oh, the keyboard's skinny in my opinion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
At least, the buttons are.
Yeah, fuck those buttons.
So, I liked this match. Did you like this match?
I did like this match. I thought Ronda against the Boss. I probably don't give enough credibility to Sasha Banks. And at the beginning when they started the feud with them, the rivalry, I was just like, it's probably going to be like not that great, like seeing them together in the match. And because they had the tag team match beforehand?
Yeah. Yeah, on Raw before, I think it was Ronda and Natalya versus Sasha and Bayley.
Right. And at first, I wasn't really looking forward to that, but it ended up, the build up to it was, I thought, actually interesting and great. And so when they got together and did their match on this pay-per-view, it actually being really good. I felt like Sasha really did amazing in this. It's probably some of her best wrestling.
I've not
in a while.
Yeah, I've not been a fan of the whole boss hug connection BS.
Yeah.
And this I felt like was a return to form for the Sasha Banks before all that crap. Sasha Banks from when she talked about having the first Hell in a Cell match.
Uh-huh.
The Sasha Banks who had a great epic rivalry with Charlotte. This was
definitely return to that.
Yeah, it was really good stuff. But the one thing that really drove me nuts about this match was fucking Ronda Rousey.
Mm-hmm.
And just being super two-faced. I felt like she's so two-faced where she's like, "Oh, you're such a great competitor. I really like you and I want to shake your hand and I respect you." And then fucking going off like, "I'm the boss's boss. I'm going to kick her ass. I don't need to apologize to her for anything. I was just, saying the truth." And I'm like, fuck off.
I think that's part of the reason that fans are kind of turning on her. Because they sell her as a face.
Not just a face, like a super baby face.
Yes. And you look at her run in UFC, and it's just, that's not her character. That's not her personality. Like, it doesn't come off believable. And then when you pit her against heels, especially like people like Nia Jax,
Then it works. It really works.
unless they, like, to me it didn't sell well with Sasha Banks. With Nia Jax it does sell. With the man, it feels very two-faced.
Yeah. And with Sasha, because she tries to play that whole I respect you thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you don't.
Yeah, it just, you're absolutely right about that. She comes off very two-faced.
And so, yeah, she talks out of both sides of her mouth, and I was annoyed at the end whenever she did the whole handshake thing. But then, Sasha flashes that 4 and alludes to the whole 4 horsewomen versus 4 horsewomen. The NXT horsewomen of
Right.
Sasha Banks and Charlotte and Becky and Bailey.
Right.
Versus
Which
Ronda.
On Twitter, Ronda was talking about how, like, oh, I'm already three down, 1 to go.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Who has she beat? Who hasn't she beat?
The
Becky.
man.
She hasn't beat Becky.
Becky.
That's right. And so, yeah,
Yep.
Yeah,
She's
and then
playing up that angle for sure.
yeah, and so it'd be for her UFC 4 horsewomen of her, Shayna Baszler, and the other 2 women who I don't know.
Who cares?
Well, yeah. So, but I liked the match overall. I thought it was a solid match.
It was. They were trying very hard to tap each other out.
And I like that she did she win with the armbar?
She did win with the armbar.
Yeah, but there was a couple of times she had some near falls with the Piper's Pit.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'd like to actually see her win with a Piper's Pit instead of
the armbar.
Yeah.
Yeah. The armbar didn't come off believable for me. Just in this match particularly.
You know what? I don't like her armbar just like I don't like her punches. But I kind of just look past those things. And part of it is because her armbar is applied for approximately half a second before the other person taps out like their arm is being ripped off their shoulder.
It doesn't come off believable for me. She literally puts them in there for for half a second.
So
and then they tap out. I'm like, what?
So
At least when Asuka does her lock, or Sasha will get her in the lock, that was more credible to me.
Oh, where they had the struggle?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, the whole armbar thing is them trying to sell Ronda as the UFC badass.
Of course.
And so, of course, her submissions are more powerful.
Yeah. It just... Yeah. I'm just... I guess I'm smarter than that.
Yeah. But, yeah, the match overall was good. They told a good story. Not Dave Meltzer Scale. What do you give this on?
Not Dave Meltzer Scale. The Power Rangers, I used to love them in the 90s. Used to love them. Now I'm just kind of like, eh. So it's like, there's a love there for the nostalgia, but present day, it's like, not a whole lot there for me. It's kind of how I feel about it. And I only say that because in the end of the match, Sasha Banks had this arm strap.
Oh,
thingy,
yeah.
And it came off, and she's using it to...
I fucking love that. That was such a heel move.
Yeah, she's using it to practically choke Ronda Rousey. And it was, funny, but, cheesy for me. And then there was a moment, too, where I was just like, is that necessary? But I don't know.
See, Sasha
that's how I felt about it.
Sasha hasn't always been a face. Sasha hasn't always been a face. So I loved that she went back to kind of those heel roots by using that to try to...
That worked for you?
Yeah, that worked for me. I loved it.
All right.
On the Not Dave Meltzer Scale, Gosh, I would probably give it half a glass of apple juice. It was
sparkling.
No, not sparkling. What do I look like, a Magellan brother?
You're just missing the outfit, but okay.
Yeah, I liked it, but it wasn't the best. But it was nice for what it was.
Okay.
Honestly, I like that match better than the Miz and Shane versus the Bar match.
Same.
But the Miz and Shane versus the Bar had the better story.
Yes. I think they had the better story for sure.
Yeah. So the next one we got
Women's Rumble.
the Women's Rumble. The Women's Rumble was amazing.
Were you surprised that because they played? Did they have the Women's Rumble first?
Yeah, that was the first Rumble.
Oh, that's right. They did have it first. Okay, yeah. Did you think they were going to do the men's first or the women's? Or you kind of always just assumed that they were going to do all the women's stuff first?
I wasn't sure because last year they used the Women's Rumble as the main event.
Oh, okay.
So I really wasn't sure how they were going to run that. And to me, there was a possibility they were going to have the Man versus Asuka as the main event.
That's actually what I was thinking. I thought that match was going to be later on.
But, that goes into the whole Becky Lynch thing of, like, the only time that title's main event is when I'm wearing it.
Yeah.
So, was there anybody you were excited to see that you didn't know?
Yeah, honestly, the NXT women. There was a lot of NXT women that came out in this Rumble that I was like, ooh, who's this? Ooh, who's this? And was it Rhea?
Rhea Ripley?
Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, the UK, the NXT UK Women's Champ.
Yes, I was really excited about her and...
was it Casey Catanzaro?
Yes, Casey Catanzaro. I was just like really excited for her. I thought she did pretty well in it considering that she was in the ring for, 10 minutes?
Yeah, she wasn't in the ring super long.
She wasn't in the ring super long, but there was a lot of women who came into the ring with so much energy, and she was someone who I got immediately excited about, even though I had never seen her before.
Well, just her size. She's a spectacle. She's as small, I feel like as small as you can get without being classified as a little person.
Oh, she's fucking adorable. She's adorable. She's cute, and she looks like she could kick your ass. And I'm just...
Yeah.
It's because I'm a tiny person, too. There's a mutual love there.
Yeah. There was... I liked when they played on old feuds and stuff like that. So seeing Zelina Vega and Candice LeRae get in each other's faces, I thought that was excellent.
Oh, Zelina Vega's freaking outfit, which
she was fucking Vega.
She was Vega, and I was like, this is great. I was like, I don't even like her that much, but this is great.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
And she had this whole funny bit of like, she's like, well, if I don't go in, no one can get me out. And she hides underneath.
Yeah. And then fucking Hornswoggle was under the ring and chases her out. She gets in the ring and she gets tossed out. And then Hornswoggle's going after her.
Oh, it was hilarious. That was a really good comedy bit for me. What was Shio? The Asian chick, Io
Shirai.
Io Shirai. I was excited about her. I hope they pull her out into WWE soon because I think she would be a really cool character to see.
I liked Kari Sane.
Oh yeah,
with her fucking pirate shit.
She was great too.
Yeah.
She's so cute. I can't remember who tossed her out, but I was a little sad about that.
Yeah, and then I loved how they used Natalya. Natalya coming in at 2, and then sticking around for like 55 minutes. It was such a workhorse spot that she took, and
yes.
It was, to me, I'm a huge Bret Hart fan. Anybody who's listened or talked to me knows this. And by proxy, I'm a huge Natalia fan. And to me, it was very much that solid, reliable Bret Hart spot in a Rumble.
Yes.
Of when you ideally think of him, you think of that workhorse, and I felt like
she definitely carries that persona.
Yeah, it felt like with Natalia, she fit that role.
Absolutely.
And took that on and did an excellent job with it.
I was so impressed with her being in there for as long as she was, coming in at that number 2 spot, because, yeah. And we were talking about how, like, there are parts in the Royal Rumble where all the women are just kind of laying
oh, yeah.
on the mat, just, like, taking a breather.
Gosh, who was it? Like, the smart thing is they would have people come in, and then somebody would just fucking clean house.
Yep.
And then that gave them all a chance to just be like, all right, I'm resting right now.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you in about 2 minutes. What'd you think of the twist? I guess that's what it is. With Lana being injured from fucking Rusev landing on her ankle in the pre-show. And her just not being able to walk out there hardly.
When I saw her come out because she came out in a cast, right?
Yeah.
When I saw her limp out in that cast, I'm going, I know where this is going. There's no way she's going to get her ass in that ring. And they get all these referees to be like, are you okay? Can you go in there? And then, what is it, the manager? Her manager? Or that was there?
Finley's a trainer.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So he was a behind the scenes agent.
Okay. When he came out, and he's just like, oh, as one of the concerned people, and then the man shows up to be like, let me take her spot. And he's looking around, he's like, can I say yes? Can I do it? Do I let her? And he finally gives her the okay. Oh my God. Like, because at that point, she came in at the last 15 minutes?
She come in, I think, at 28 or something like that.
Okay, so she came in at the last 10 to 15 minutes, and as soon as she got in that ring, I was just like, I was already dialed in, but seeing her, it was like going from 10 to 11.
And then, you had
and I just
fucking Nia Jax coming in pretty soon after her and just knocking her off those stairs.
Oh my God.
And the whole ankle injury.
That for me was a huge highlight, was seeing Becky get up from this injury and getting in that ring and just telling Charlotte, let's go. Yeah.
And definitely continuing her dominance over Charlotte.
Oh, loved it. Loved every minute of it.
Yeah, that whole, So seeing the man win was totally a highlight. I don't care if it's fan service. I was delighted. It was exactly what I wanted I didn't know I wanted out of the Rumble.
Yeah.
Not Dave Meltzer Scale. What do you give it?
I'm going to go on my food scale here. And it's going to be a hot, melted, cheesy grilled sandwich.
Oh, okay. That does sound pretty good.
It does sound good, huh?
Yeah. I'm going to give it a Ferrari.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's
Sleek.
That's how I was feeling about that match.
Sleek.
That shit was running at speeds that people always dream of going.
Oh yeah.
And looking fly as fuck.
Doing it, yeah.
Yep.
Agreed. So the next match is Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles.
Not just Daniel Bryan, the new Daniel Bryan.
The new Daniel Bryan.
How long do you be new?
Forever. He'll
before
forever
you're
be
not new.
He'll forever be new. The planet's champion has no expiration date. I think that's what he was trying to tell people.
So
right?
He's just always new.
He's always new. He's new. He gets recycled. He becomes composted. Gets new again.
So he's continually renewed.
Oh, Oh, continually renewed. Yes.
Okay.
Genius.
Yeah.
Recyclable material, man.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
That makes so much sense.
I like this match. I thought it was good. Had a lot of fun moments.
Did you like this match better than the one they had at TLC?
No.
Really?
I like the TLC match because of the finish.
Oh, okay.
The whole roll up and that came out of nowhere after like trying to hit finishing moves and all that shit. I loved it.
Yeah.
This match was good. I was interested with what they were doing with Eric Rowan.
I didn't see that coming.
Last I saw, Rowan had been sidelined by a torn bicep, and he was the reason the Bludgeon Brothers had been taken off TV. So to see him without Luke Harper, I was very confused, but I enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, I thought it was a good surprise. I liked to see him come in at the end. I definitely was like, what the fuck is this guy? But, yeah, I thought it was a good match. I thought it was a very fair match. And
Except for the whole ref bump and the...
Yeah, the ref bump, I was just kind of like, eh.
But it added a new wrinkle to the character.
It did. As much as I like seeing them square off against each other, I am kind of ready to see the rivalry die down and finally kind of come to an end and see something new come from that. So hopefully with Rowan's character coming in at the end is going to spark off something new.
Okay.
Just because I'm just kind of ready to move on. Like, it's been good. It's been a fun ride, but I'm kind of ready to move on.
Well, you're going to have the Elimination Chamber coming up, so...
Yeah, and so that's going to be something really fun to look forward to.
Not Dave Meltzer Scale on the Bryan and Styles match.
Ooh. If I had to give it a rating... It's like when you go to the circus and you haven't gone to the circus in a while, and you're like, oh, I forgot how fun this is, and this is still really fun. And then you're like 20 minutes in, you're like, okay, I'm kind of...
You done with the circus?
I'm done with the circus. Let's get on with it.
You know what I give this?
What do you give it?
A fickle pickle.
I love it.
Yeah, so I enjoy pickles.
It's got a nice crunch to it.
Yeah, it does. And it was fickle pickle.
All right.
With the new Daniel Bryan always on that fickle train.
Always on that fickle train.
I enjoyed it, so fickle pickle for that. Brock versus Balor was the tale of Finn Balor beating the ever-living shit out of Brock Lesnar until he didn't. Which was shocking to me.
Oh, man. I was really into the storyline of, like, of David versus Goliath, and that they played it up like that because of their stature. And is it Finn Balor or Ben Fowler? Side note, it's Ben Fowler.
It's Ben Fowler?
It's Ben Fowler for me.
Okay.
but yeah, I really liked how they sold the match because of Finn being so much smaller than Brock Lesnar, and but he's got all these one-ups on him, so his chances are going to be really good despite all the odds. And I'm really glad that the match didn't go over 8 to 10 minutes.
It was something like that.
It was short, but it was just enough that it didn't feel... You didn't feel like you were going to be there forever. So the fact that it was short and it was high quality made up for how short it was for me.
I love the storytelling where they shoved Brock right into the announce table, and they're like, yeah, he's like right in the corner, hits him in the stomach. And so you develop a weak point in Brock Lesnar, which is not something you see a whole lot of in Brock Lesnar matches.
Yeah. It comes off with Finn Balor like looking like he had strategy in mind, as much strategy as he could have pinned in at that moment. Yeah,
and to see him actually hit the coup de grace and land it, I was shocked. At that moment, I was like, we might actually get a new Universal Champion. This is how they're going to do it. And then, bam, that Brock hit the Kimura lock.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was pretty dope to see Brock bust out. Like, he did all the wrestling. He tried to do the wrestling. Obviously, he couldn't out-wrestle Finn Balor.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, fuck it. This is an MMA match now. I'm going to break your fucking arm.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And I love the Kimura lock. They put it over in like 2013 or 2012. Whenever Brock first came back, that was kind of his big thing, is he was breaking everybody's arms. So to see him like bring that back and actually have it like be a legitimate move again, I thought that was pretty cool.
For me, it was one of the better matches on this pay-per-view.
So
I actually liked this match better than I liked the Bryan Daniel versus AJ Styles. Just me personally.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I like this match. I liked him too. I thought this was a better match, and the match itself told a better story.
Yeah.
But again, I like the story. For me personally, I like the story they were doing with Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles better. Mainly because they added that element of Rowan in, and to see what they're going to do with that and how that'll play out in the long term.
I could see that. Yeah. I could see why you'd say that.
Not Dave Meltzer Scale?
Not Dave Meltzer Scale. I would probably give it like... Did you ever see that Russell Crowe movie where he plays like a gladiator?
You mean that one called Gladiator?
Is that what it's called?
Yeah. It kind of won an Oscar.
Oh, well, it wins an Oscar in my heart.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So this, basically, you're saying this match was an Oscar-winning movie match?
Look, I'm here for Finn Balor. Ben Fowler has my heart.
Okay, fair enough.
Next to you, I mean.
Okay, I don't judge. I want you to be happy. That's all I want out of life.
Thank you.
Yeah. I give it... You know what I give it?
What do you give it?
Trading cards. Like cool-ass comic trading cards from the 90s.
Ooh, love it.
I had a bunch of them as a kid, and I really enjoyed looking at them and reading them. And this is like a set of those.
Yeah, it's a nice novelty.
Yeah, it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
I look at it for a little bit, and then I move on to the next thing. Which the next thing is the Men's Rumble. That's the final thing, too.
Yes, that is the final thing. It's the final...
Our final destination.
Our final destination. Elias kicks it off at number 1.
Oh, my God.
And then they bring in this Hall of Famer.
What was funny was
At
seeing
2.
your reaction of just not knowing who Jeff Jarrett was.
You know, my reaction is always like I feel embarrassed sometimes because I'm like, I don't know who the hell this is. So I never know where things are going to go. And I just kind of, I don't know, I just watch it and react to it as I always do, openly and honestly.
Honestly, that's how they try to keep that in mind to have the casual viewer and people like you who aren't like steeped in WWE lore and, you know, been following the product since the 90s or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And I just don't think for this, they obviously didn't take that in mind of somebody like Jeff Jarrett. And I think part of that is because he was inducted in the Hall of Fame last year.
Oh, okay.
So they're like, people are kind of familiar with him.
Yeah, I had no idea who he was. But the great thing is that I always have you sitting next to me watching all this stuff and just filling in the blanks for me, which I love. Yeah, he came out after Elias, 90 seconds after Elias. And Elias, of course, just was going on this rant about how he is done with people interrupting him and he's gonna bust into his song, and Jeff Jarrett just crashes the party, and
yeah,
it's just turned heel.
He did turn heel, and I thought that was stupid because he's only been a face for like a few months, And so for him to turn back, I thought was really, really dumb. But in the grand scheme of things, it was kind of whatever.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of him because he crashed his guitar on Jeff Jarrett, and I was shocked, but at
The
the
irony,
same time,
the irony is that was a Jeff Jarrett spot.
yeah, and then you told me that, and I was just like, oh my god. So he took him out, and then, every 90 seconds proceeded just wrestler after wrestler. And
They didn't have a whole lot of, like, classic people in outside of, like, Kurt Angle.
I was surprised to see Kurt Angle actually come out. I wasn't expecting that.
I wasn't too shocked, but I never want to see Kurt Angle in a ring ever again.
Yeah, if I never have to see him in a ring ever again, I'd be totally fine with that.
That man is past his prime to a sad state.
Yeah. I'm ready for them to lay him to rest.
Yeah, exactly.
Although, he lasted about
He lasted
8 minutes?
maybe,
in the ring?
yeah.
I'll give about 8 minutes in the ring.
Yeah.
If maybe, somewhere between 5 to 8, I'd say. Probably, and honestly, just so he wouldn't get injured. There was so much.
Gosh.
There were so many points during the men's Royal Rumble that I was just like, this guy looks like he's gonna get hurt. This guy looks like he's already hurt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Rey Mysterio coming into the match after his 2 out of 3 falls match with Andrade Cien Almas, them tearing down the house.
Yeah.
To see them, especially Ray, there was plenty of spots there. I was like, Ray looked like he fucked himself up. So for him to come out and then put on the type of performance he did, I was shocked.
Yeah.
Nothing short of impressive.
Yeah. And you talked while we were watching about just, he comes from that old school mentality of like, you start and you finish.
Yeah.
And that definitely showed in this Royal Rumble.
Yeah, he was a badass. And seeing him and Andrade in the Rumble, like both of those dudes were just straight up badasses in the Rumble. I loved seeing some of the NXT people. I don't watch NXT, I just hear like, oh, so-and-so is excellent. So for me, it's getting a taste of that and getting to see Aleister Black and Johnny Gargano. Was there any... there was a couple of other people I was thinking. Yeah, but seeing the NXT folks come in and that group, it was cool seeing them get their due. And getting introduced, and it kind of gave you an idea of who's coming in after WrestleMania and who they're calling up to the main roster. Mm-hmm. Which I think Aleister Black's going to be one of those people. For sure.
He did, yeah. He was really fun to watch in this Royal Rumble. New Day always just cracks me up.
Oh, especially with the Kofi thing where he was like riding on Xavier Woods.
Yep.
Which Kofi needs to win the Rumble one of these days. If they're going to have him be Mr. Royal Rumble, like fucking set up the Rumble around him constantly trying to figure out ways to stay in.
Yep.
So what you do is 1 year you have him get down to like the final 3 and then get tossed out. Mm-hmm. And then the next year he fucking wins.
Yeah.
So that's what I hope they do one day.
He's so funny. Love him.
Yeah.
Drew McIntyre's face while he was watching him get back into the ring was hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
Because Drew McIntyre's just like so stone cold serious all the time.
God, he came in and started laying everybody out with fucking claymores.
Oh my god. I'm not gonna lie, but that was like a highlight for me.
That was so fucking cool.
Because it was like Seth Rollins, like just people in a row, like bam, 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 bam. And it, at the end, it's like, 10 to 15 seconds into him laying all these claymores on people, you just see all these bodies on the floor.
Oh, yeah. Just he left a
The bodies hit the floor, guys.
Yep. He left a wake of destruction.
It was great.
And I loved what they did with Bobby Lashley.
Oh my gosh. That was so funny.
Being in the Rumble for 12 seconds did more for him than some of those people being in the Rumble for 15, 20 minutes.
Agreed.
It gave him a chip on his shoulder. Seeing him fuck up Seth Rollins was fun. And I thought they did a great job of incorporating that into the final story of it, as they got down to the final 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And I was happy to see Dolph Ziggler. I didn't think I'd see him. I thought I read on Twitter that he'd taken the weekend off or some shit. So seeing him come in was a true surprise for me, and I thought, oh man, if he wins it, that'd be pretty dope.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting him to come in, because he came in at, what, 29?
Something like that. It was in the late 20s.
Yeah, he came in towards the end, and we weren't expecting him, and that was a good wild card in there.
Yeah.
And can we talk about the highlight of this?
Well, okay. What was the highlight?
R-Truth drew number 30.
Oh, yeah. And then Nia Jax decided she was 30, comes in, fucks him up.
Oh, yeah.
And then gets in the ring and starts tossing people out. Tossing out Mustafa Ali.
Who had been in for... God, he had been in that ring forever. Poor kid. Yeah, he just got tossed out like yesterday's trash.
Yeah. And it was fun seeing her go one-on-one with the men and getting hit with, the 619 and the RKO and all that. And
that was
seeing
great.
her, fuck people up, I thought was cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I enjoyed seeing Nia Jax in there. I don't want to see it all the time, and I hope they don't do it all the time, but
right.
Seeing it once, I thought made it kind of special.
Yeah, I thought that was really, really fun to watch. And then it came down to Seth Rollins after she got out of the ring.
And Braun Strowman. I can't remember the final 3.
I can't remember the third person. Because Drew McIntyre got out at that point, had already been out.
Yeah. Was it Randy Orton?
Was it Randy Orton?
Or Samoa Joe?
No, Samoa Joe got thrown out when Nia Jax went in there.
Oh, okay. It might have been Randy Orton then.
Might have been Randy Orton.
Yeah, I can't remember. But I loved seeing the story of Seth Rollins overcoming.
Oh. My man came through.
Yeah. Your other BF?
My other BF.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was happy to see Seth Rollins get it. He deserved it. I hope that it looks like they're going to turn Seth Rollins into kind of the next, to me, people say like AJ Styles is the current Shawn Michaels. I would venture to say that that's Seth Rollins at this point, and that they could turn Seth Rollins into the next Shawn Michaels. And so, yeah, I would say that that's kind of how they rolled with this, and they had him, pull it out at the end.
It feels like they are setting him up for something greater, and I'm on board.
Yeah.
I'm on board.
So, Not Dave Meltzer Scale.
Not Dave Meltzer Scale. Probably a nice blow-up poster of Seth Rollins, shirtless.
Oh, shit.
There you go.
That's pretty tall. Tall praise on your end.
Oh, yeah.
I would give that Rumble easily In-N-Out Burger for like a week.
It does its job.
And it's
it
fucking delicious. Fries, drink, all that shit.
Ooh, getting hungry.
For like a week. Like, so good.
Yeah.
So, overall show, what would you give... Oh, well, you didn't... Oh, yeah, you did. Overall show, what would you give on the Dave Meltzer scale, the entire show?
The entire show. What would I give it? I'm not always in the mood for it, but when I have it, it's damn tasty. Your favorite, a calzone.
A calzone?
I would give it a calzone.
Holy shit. I am actually going to go the food route, too.
Ooh.
I'm going to say 2 sushi rolls.
2 solid.
2 fucking amazing, delicious sushi rolls.
Nice. I'm picturing it already.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
So that's our feelings on the Royal Rumble. Where can people hit you up to disagree with you or reinforce your good opinions?
Yeah, or just to talk about food. Hey,
yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, send her food pictures and topless Seth Rollins pictures.
Both porn, in my opinion.
Okay, where are they going to send it to?
They're gonna send it to my Instagram, bubblegumback, or they can hit me up on Twitter under the same handle.
There's no E in bubblegum, is there?
No E.
Okay. Yeah, as always, hit me up at Adam S. Messinger if you want to argue or concur or just chat about whatever or send suggestions. So, yes, you can hit me up there. I'm everywhere on the internet at Adam S. Messinger, Messinger for that last name.
That's right.
I want to give a shout out to Kevin Lane for editing this. I'd like to give a shout out to you, my love, for hanging out with me for fucking over an hour and chatting about this.
Aww.
Dan Faughnder did our graphics. Oh, if you've tuned in because of our wonderful sponsor, Junk in the Trunk Comics,
Oh, that's right.
now is your time. That's right. You've hung in here. You've listened. This is your cue for the secret special word. It is what the Junk Master himself has dubbed me, and that is the Pod Night. So that's your special word. Check the timing on it. Send it to Junk in the Trunk Comics OG on Instagram. That's JUNKN_the trunk THETRUNK _comics COMIXOG on Instagram. So thank you very much, Junkers and lifers alike and Junk Squad members. I am happy to have been with you. My plan, and I promise this is my plan, we'll talk comics next week. We're going to talk a hodgepodge of shit. So comics, I'll probably talk some more WWE. Yeah, so with that, I will see you next week.